right. Thank you, everyone. Great to see some familiar faces coming back. Always appreciate you all taking the time to join us, and also always love seeing your names come through. It's fun seeing those of you who come every month. All right. Well, welcome back to your Let's Talk office hours. I think most of you know who I am. If not, I'm Sharon. I'm a Senior Client Success Manager here at K-12 Insight, and I guide us through our monthly office hours sessions. With me today, I have a new member of our client success team. This is Rebecca Ames. Rebecca has been with us for almost 2 months now, which is crazy. And she's soon going to start working with some of our districts across the country. So some of you might be getting to work with her in the future. Rebecca has been in the EdTech space for over 5 years now. And previous to that, she was in the classroom and part of a school district. So she's lived and breathed our everyday lives and know what we're going through. In her short 2 months here, she's learned so much about our product and our districts. And so I know she's going to be an excellent fit for some of you if you work with her. As questions come up, pop them into the chat. She will be able to address those, or if we have a question that would be better for us to talk through or me to demo live, she'll interrupt me and we can address it as a group. So now that we're a little settled, Jasmine, did you have a question already? Or if you want to pop it in the chat, it might have also been an accidental hand raise. Pop it in there. All right. Okay, so now that we're a little settled in, let's hop into our agenda. Today, we're going to be spending most of our time in the platform. I have a few slides to mix in. It's not necessary to have your Let's Talk account open, but you're welcome to if you'd like to be following along and updating anything with me in real time. For most of our time together, we're going to clean up your account. We're going to look at those nooks and crannies, some things that we should be checking every summer, but for the most part, aren't looking at them every day. I am going to be recording this call. It will be shared out tomorrow. And with that, we'll be sharing the 3-month checklist resource. So you can make sure you're not missing anything. Rebecca will share that with us once we get going. So you can also look at it now as we're moving along. I just want to point out that there's more in the checklist than what we're going to be covering today. So make sure you do open that and look through it. Use it to pick and choose what needs to be cleaned up. We'll be going today month by month, with June being our biggest month because we can kick off some of the larger pieces. We're also going to chat through those helpful integrations if you haven't done that yet. Want to talk about some new features that were recently released so we make sure we don't miss those, and then we'll wrap with next month's topic. So big agenda for us, but it's going to cruise. So as we build our summer checklist, or we built our summer checklist as a tool that you can use to look at monthly to be cleaning up your account and getting it ready for back to school. We know that Let's Talk is not your only job, so we want to make this feel approachable and doable. Rebecca's going to drop what you're seeing in the chat, scroll by, so you can have it open, but don't worry, we will be sending it in the recording tomorrow. So if you accidentally close this tab and don't have it, that's okay, you'll be getting it again. When you're looking at this, you're going to see that June is the biggest month. There's a lot of tasks under June, but there's some pieces here that are going to roll into other months. We want to encourage you to get started on them now so we have time to get them fully ready for back to school. And also, all of these are totally optional. There may be some to you that you're like, yep, I can do this right away. This is something I want to do. Maybe there's some that you're like, we actually don't need to do that. We're in really good shape. But this just gives you that high level overview so you can know what's going to work best for you and your district. As you get started on this, I recommend setting aside an extra 5 to 10 minutes a day. Take care of 1 to 2 tasks. At that rate, you will totally cruise through this. I always organize my days to start with any task that will take me 2 minutes or less, so I can just go ahead and get them done and off my plate. And then once those are done, I move into those larger tasks to then get them going and moving forward. I'm also going to be totally honest that sometimes there's those larger tasks that I'm just not feeling very motivated to do. When I have those, I set a timer for 7 minutes and get started on it. Usually I'll find my groove in those first 7 minutes and I'll keep moving on it and progressing. But if that timer goes off and I'm just not feeling it and know that I'm not going to be giving my best in that moment, I stop for the day, move it over for the next day, and keep going forward. We're looking for progress over perfection here as we're cleaning this out. So for us, let's go ahead and roll into our account. For those of you who are following along, go ahead and open your Let's Talk account. Again, you're welcome to just sit back, relax, and follow along. But for us, we're going to be spending our time in the settings. So let's go ahead and hop into your settings. Again, if you haven't been here in a while, you'll find this under your name in the top right-hand corner. Once we're here, it's going to open up your main profile. This is a place that we generally tell you set it and forget it. However, something I want to point out, because I've noticed this in a few accounts recently, that right here you can see I have my school district logo next to my name. If this is something that you're seeing a Let's Talk logo here, you'd like to customize that, keep scrolling down a little bit and you're going to see this option to update logo. This is something only system admins will see. So you can go ahead and change that out to be your district logo, and it will then populate up here with every user's signature. It's a simple way that can just help your account feel more personalized for your district. All right. The next easy place I want us to check is your calendar. So we're actually going to go back to our settings, and right here at the top of our profile, we're going to go all the way down to the bottom. We have our reporting here, and under our dialogue aging. This is another spot that generally we set it up and we forget about it. But something I want you to check is that your business hours are correct. We want to make sure that these are the actual times that you are asking your users to be responding. As a reminder, this is the clock that your dialogues use to keep track of response times. So make sure it's accurate so we can make sure that our data is up to date. I feel like when this comes out of the box, it's set from like 8 to 5, and I know most school districts don't operate on that schedule, so you can go ahead and adjust it there. The other piece I want to point out up here is your calendar settings. First, I want you to make sure that this is the accurate start of your school year. This is not your first day of school that will be in 2025. This is when you decide that the school year officially starts. For most of you, it's going to be July 1st. Our New York districts might see this more towards August 1st. But again, this is what your dashboard pulls in pulling out your current school data. So make sure that this is accurate. And then the last piece is the dialogue aging calendar down here. So if you toggle this over to 2025-2026, it's currently blank. This will be filled in from our team by July 1st, and it will only include those major holidays like Thanksgiving, Labor Day, Memorial Day, etc. These are the dates that we know you're not in session, so that clock should not be aging as it's going. So again, take a minute to look through here. If you're a district like Jasmine down in Georgia, for spring break, they shut down, the Masters come to town. They're not even there. So maybe you want to make sure that you block that whole week off. If you're going to do that, you could just select the dates that you want those to go through, label it spring break, and we'll say it's this whole week and save. And then now if a dialogue submitted in that block of time, that clock will not be aging. So great place for us to check. Again, our team will be updating those major holidays by July 1st. Okay, let's head up and look at some larger pieces. So I'm going to move back up on my settings side and look under account setup. I have my topics manager. This is a place that we have all been before, but again, it's a place that sometimes we just set it and forget it. So it's a good place for us to look as our school year is going to be starting. The nice thing is we have our filter option. If you haven't taken advantage of this, this is going to be a huge time saver. For us, we're going to use this to see any topics that have 0 dialogues. We're going to see if there are any that are outdated. And then we're also going to do a bulk reassignment of topic owners, because I'm sure that that's something that's going to be adjusting for us. So first things first, let's take a look and see if I have any topics that have received 0 dialogues. It might be a good candidate for us to remove. Remember, if a topic has ever received a dialogue, even just one, it cannot be deleted for the integrity of your data. So let's go ahead and hop up to our filter option. And I'm going to go down and look at this number of dialogues received. If I click on the little caret, I then have a few options of how I can be looking at this. So if I just want to see dialogues that have received 100 or more, I can do it that way. But for me, I want to see if there's any dialogues equal to 0. Go ahead and apply my filter. Don't forget you have this option right here, that little expand. If I click on that, it's going to now show me what are all my topics that have never received a dialogue. And of those, what ones of those are online, meaning that they're currently on a landing page. Maybe they don't need to be there and are kind of junking up my landing page. So as I look through, I can say, you know what? We have gathered all of the great ideas in my district. This topic no longer needs to be active. Let's say that I want to delete it. I'm just going to go ahead and click next to it and use my bulk option right up here. And I have my option to delete category and topic. It's going to ask me, are you sure you want to do this? And I'm going to save it. And then now that has cleaned this up a little bit and is no longer a topic that I can access. Now there might be some in here that don't have any dialogues that have received, but you know that you want to keep them active. No knock on our facilities departments, but I see those a lot of we want to have a topic open for them, but they just don't get a high level of dialogues coming through. Absolutely. Keep it on there. Use your best judgment. Okay, I'm going to come back up to my filter option, clear this out so we can start fresh. The next thing I want to look at is the last time I received a dialogue. So last dialogue received. I'm going to check this, and what I'm actually going to do is do my custom date range, and I want to see any dialogue. Let's filter it for last school year. So that actually started in 2023, July 1st, and it ended June 30th of 2024. So let's take a look and we'll see when those were received. And I can expand again. There we go. And then the nice thing about this, here's all my dialogues, but we now have, if you haven't ever explored this, I hover over my topic, we have this little bar graph. And that's going to give me some easy to view stats right away. So I can see that I've only received 6 dialogues, but I also haven't received one in 124 days. So maybe I'm looking at after school care of like, yeah, that makes sense. Our district has renamed this program. I either need to rename the topic or remove this topic from a landing page. I again can see that this is online. So this is living somewhere that somebody could access it and submit it. So let's say that I want to deactivate this, but I've received dialogue, so I don't necessarily want to delete it. I just don't want anybody to be able to access it. I'm going to select next to that topic, go up to my bulk option, and change my status. Here I have my option to archive it. So that topic will no longer be able to receive dialogues, but I still have all that data that's in there for me to access. Now, something to note, go ahead and expand. Here we go. We can see all my archived ones down below. Is that when I'm archiving, I can do multiples at once. So you saw me only select one, but I could also do 2 and change my status that way. When you are deleting topics, you can only do 1 at a time, just because we want to make sure that we're not getting click happy and removing too many at once. So if you do select both, you'll see that that isn't an option. So just know that everything's working as it should be. That's okay. All right, last one I want to show, which will probably be a hot topic for most districts, is changing any topic owner or team members. There's probably going to be some sort of rollover that's going to be happening inside your district, and you don't need to come through and do these one by one to be adjusting these. So let's say that topic owner, we know that Gus is going to be transitioning and we need to reassign his topics. So here we go. We're going to expand those once again. And here's all of the topics that Gus is a team member on. I'm just going to select these, go back to my handy dandy bulk option, and here I want to change my topic owner. So I'm going to reassign these to Buster. And then simple as that, Buster is now the owner of all of those topics. Now, the nice thing is, go ahead and expand. The other thing you saw was that you can also be adjusting team members. So if you know that you need to be adding somebody onto some topics, you can come again up to your bulk options, change my team members, and then let's go ahead and add Buster onto all of these. He's been added and save. So really use this to your advantage as you're having to do these. I know in the past we didn't have our filter option and you were individually going one by one to be adjusting who is part of these. Use it. It's so easy. If you have any questions, of course, reach out to your CSMs. We can help do this. If you have a big list that you know there's going to be some changing, reach out to us and our team can do those for you. We just need to know who's leaving, who are the new people who need to be on there, just as straightforward as we can. Last thing I want to point out is if your district is using introduction messages, you can see on here, yes, yes, no, no. Again, those are the messages that come at the top of your dialogues. You can always export these to view all of these, or just make sure you're going through and editing these, especially if you know that there is a time frame on there. I see this a lot with enrollment topics. People in districts will call out now enrolling for the 2026 school year. Make sure that this is adjusted and really clean so that we don't have anything outdated on here. Okay. I don't see any questions coming in, so we're gonna keep cruising. All right. Just like you saw me use that filter option, My topics manager will just clear this out. There we go. I'm going to take us down to our users. Oh, it must think that I have multiple people in here. Let's try again. Here we go. Let's head over to our user section. So if you haven't used the filter in your user section, this is also a very easy way to be helping clean up your account. Few hot tips before we hop into that. Your last login here. If you haven't done this in a while, you can now delete users who have never logged in. You probably have way more users than I do since this is my fake school district. But if you click on last login, it will sort it by who most recently logged in. If I click it again, who has never logged in. So I'm looking at this and I can see that, gosh, these guys got added in February of 2022 and they have never logged in. So chances are they're never going to log in. I don't want to be seeing them here on my view. So what I'm going to do is select next to their name. See if we can do multiple at once. And more options. If I click right there, more options, not edit user. That sometimes tricks me up. Click delete user. Now you can only delete users who have never logged into the platform. Let's go ahead and do that. There we go. And they have been deleted successfully. So if they have logged in or if they are assigned to a topic, you will get a pop-up letting you know. But this can at least kind of help clear up that view for you. We're going to see that pop up in a second, because the next thing I recommend doing is sorting to see who is still active but hasn't logged in a while. So we can come up to our filter and we can go ahead and do our last login. And again, your custom date range. I would choose this to be from last school year. I don't have any on mine that's going to filter to give us that. So again, use your filter. It's going to show you this. I wish I had more users in here, but it will then pop up. Let's say if you did again, July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2024, you can see who last logged in the last school year. Let's clear this out and it's going to pop up. So if I'm looking at this, I at least have Buster who hasn't logged in since September of 2024. I know that Buster's transitioned from the district. He has received dialogues in the past, so I can't delete him, but I also don't want him to be able to still access the platform and be active. So what I can do is click next to Buster's name, edit his user, and make him inactive. Now you can see here are the different topics that he is the team owner on. So it's going to tell me, should give me a little error. Yep, that if I do not reassign him, those are going to become, those topics are now going to belong to me. Or I can go ahead and choose who I want to take over for these. Go ahead and save. Oh, Buster's a translator in my account. So you'll get these pop-ups letting you know like, oh, can't do it yet. They might be assigned to critical alerts. They might be assigned to languages, and you'll just come through and make those adjustments. Now, the nice thing is once you have this kind of all organized, your page, you might be looking at mine and like, oh, you've got the greens, you've got the reds, you've got the grays. I don't want to see all this. You come back up to your filter option, come down to your status, and you can choose active. Now I just want to see my users who are active inside the system. Once you set this filter, it will save. So every time I come to log in, this is how it's going to look for me. You can always clear it out. But this is just going to help things be like nice and neat and organized. I a lot of times have people reach out saying, you just delete everybody who hasn't logged in or who's inactive, and know if they've received a dialogue, but you can change your view like this to keep it nice and easy to look at. Okay, those are two great places for us to get that refreshed. But now that we've looked at kind of cleaning things up, let's talk through streamlining some efficiencies. So these are some of those things that we recommend getting started in June and might be pieces that you'll just kind of trickle in throughout the year. Let's kind of think about these of, I know we all have random PDFs that are sitting out there, Google Forms. I found some of them on your websites before. Just a reminder, you can make custom forms inside of Let's Talk. So then all of that information is being nice and gathered into this one platform. Great example of this is I filled out a Google form for Fish, Wildlife, and Parks about a week ago. And this was, I had caught a fish that had a tag in it and I was going to be entered into a drawing. And I filled out the Google form, but I submitted it and I got no confirmation pop-up letting me know that it had been submitted. I got no email confirmation letting me know that they will follow up with me at a certain time. And I was like, gosh, they could really use Let's Talk right now, because I felt like I hit submit on a Google form and it went into the abyss, never to be heard from again. So move those forms into Let's Talk. If you don't have capacity to do this, our team does. So reach out to us. We have our whole support team, our implementation team. We can help build these for you, so we can help make everything as streamlined as possible. I'm not going to show you how to build forms today. So again, reach out. We can help with that. Next up, I want to touch on our resource center. So for those of you who have launched your chatbot, you're familiar with this section. If you haven't already, go ahead and start adding those resources. But we have a few things that make this so easy now. So one thing is, if you didn't know, you can now do a full site scan. So you no longer have to individually be adding web pages if you don't want. Oh, yes. Thank you, Heidi. Don't forget to translate all your forms if you've got them built. Good tip. And hi, Heidi. So if you want to come in and add a resource, you do, I'm a little zoomed in, but you have the option to do the full scan website in here. So this is one way that you can make sure that we're just looking through every resource that's under your domain. It will pull up to 1,000 web pages. So if you know you have more than that, you might then need to go ahead and add in a few on top of it, but it's going to help save you so much time by doing that. The other great thing that we've recently rolled out, and this happened last week, so this is hot off the press, is you can now choose to do a weekly rescan of 5 of your resources. So if I activate this, every week it's going to go through and rescan that automatically for me, so I no longer have to come in and click that button to rescan. This is a great reason. Yes, I know, Brian, it's so exciting. It's a great reason to do that full site scan, so you can just honestly set it and forget it. So make sure you are taking advantage of that. All right, glad I got that. That was a little preview of some of the updates that have happened. So great hot tips. Okay, let's talk through our integrations. I know a lot of you have these, as I've seen these names come through, but if you don't, now is a great time to get that SSO and SIS set up. This is another project we could start in June, because especially for SIS, it might take about a month to complete. So always great to get it started now. Rebecca is going to drop a link into the chat for your SSO. As a reminder, SSO stands for single sign-on, and it allows for your users to use the same email and password that they're using for all district credentials. Makes it really simple and easy for you to access the platform, to log in. You then also have enhanced security, because you're eliminating the need for applications to store your copies, your user credentials, etc. If you're a larger district, you might also be interested in our user provisioning API integration. If that is something that you're like, oh, that sounds great, reach out to your CSM. We can help get that going for you. Google is really easy. We can get SSO set up in about 24 hours. We can also do Azure, Active Directory, etc. So fill out that SSO link that Rebecca dropped into the chat, or reach out to your CSM. What you're seeing on the screen right here is SIS. This is another great integration to start on. This is where we link your student information system to Let's Talk. So student and parent data can be pulled into dialogues. That way, when you receive a dialogue or phone call from a parent whose information matches your SIS, it'll automatically populate. You're seeing that middle section right there into your dialogue. This is great, and we can customize what location or what information you want to load. You can do campus location, grade levels, bus route numbers, device information, whatever is going to be most helpful for your team to assist your customers. I also, as I've reminded us a few times, we take your data really seriously. We have a strong data privacy that your CSM can share with you and your team if you'd like to review it. But with us, just rest assured that all data is encrypted and safe. So I know that that's always a #1 question. And then Rebecca will drop in the chat the SIS form if you want to go ahead and get started on that as well. It's a great thing for us to be taking a look at. Okay, saw a Q&A come through. Are we able to turn on all of our resources? No, so Brian, right now you only have the option to turn on 5 resources, mostly because we can't overload our system. So right now we can do up to 5 for every account. That might change in the future, but if you do the full site scan, that will count as one of the 5, so that could be a great thing to do. And Lisa, do we need to be manually going into all of our other resources beyond those top 5 to get the auto scan? Let's see. Okay. If you do need them rescanned, resources beyond those 5. Okay, making sure I'm reading this correctly. They will only rescan if they're part of that top 5. If they have been updated, you do need to go in and rescan them if they're not part of that weekly auto scan. If they're newly added, they'll be scanning as they're added into the platform. But it'll be that snapshot in time of when they were last added, unless you have rescanned them. So keep that in mind as you're going through. Just when it was added, unless that rescan's been turned on, it is that snapshot in time of when it happened. Okay, great. Thank you. Great questions. And yes, Brian, also looking forward to that update. I mean, I know we're all excited about the first one, but we're excited for when we can do even more. Okay, I'm gonna hop back over to my Let's Talk account. We're moving on to July. We've left June in the dust. July is all about making sure that our messaging is up to date and ready to go for back to school. So I know there are a few of you, I called this out in our introduction messages, that have school years specifically listed in things like a response template or in a success message. So this is a great time to come and look at your response templates. Those are found under communication. Your available templates will be here. Just like you saw with your topics, you can always view the statistics. So mine, this is a test, testing, 1, 2, 3. I've never used this. I have no feedback on it. It's from the beginning of time. So what I can do is actually delete this and say, I don't actually want anybody to have access to this template. I've never used it. Let's clear it out. But just make sure that you're coming through and double checking that you don't have any school dates listed in here or anything that needs to be updated. The other piece is your success messages under account setup. This is a great one. If you do think you have school year listed, make sure you update that. That would be on your custom success messages. Your default one does not have school years listed. So if you just have the one default, you're good. If you have more, make sure you're looking through those to just double check. And then now's a great time if you do want to set up any custom success messages. So if you have like a kudos campaign, maybe you're going for a bond or things that you're collecting feedback, but you're not going to be responding to, you can always set that success message letting them know, we received this, we won't be following up, but your information will be passed on. So just don't forget you have that option. Okay, and then August is all about promotion and access. We want to make sure that families new and returning know how to get in touch with us. We want to make it easy for them. So if you haven't already, consider changing your Facebook contact us redirect for Let's Talk. This can help cut down on those spam or bot messages that come through. It can filter all communications into one place. There are instructions linked in your checklist, so check that out. It takes about 10 seconds once you have it. It's a really easy process to set up. The next thing I want to point out is if you've never been in here, under channels, you have this email option. So if you are sending out, well, not if, when you're sending out district newsletters, we all have some form of communication. You can set that response to be your Let's Talk email address right here. So then if people respond to that newsletter that went out, it can go directly into Let's Talk. And then you're having that easy timeline and everything to access behind it. That data is associated, etc. You'll find that right under your email address for customers. When that comes in, you do need to have a customer email team associated with that. And it can just be those folks that you know can help you field those dialogues if they come in. Oftentimes it's a system admin. If you're also seeing this customer email address and it's empty, I recommend plugging it in. Sometimes we do see some like bogus emails come through, or, you know, like the promotional emails of like, we're hosting a potluck at our community center. Can you share this? And those will sometimes land in here and you'll get an error saying that there's nobody associated with this. So just plug somebody else in there with you or just some person to help kind of clear those through. And then last, don't forget our resources in the Learning Center. Rebecca's going to plug a link in here. If you haven't been in here in a while, it's gotten a little update in here. You have access to messaging for parents, staff, students, community. This is what we used to call our, what did we call it? Our communications center. So this has now been updated. Everything's in here. We have flyers to support Peach Jar, text messaging, etc. A lot of us are in communication, so we know people need to be hit with a message 7 times to remember it. So sprinkle this in during back to school, after school breaks, throughout the year, put it on Facebook, work it into your newsletters. Don't think that you telling everybody one time is automatically going to have them remember that this is where they need to go. The toolkit will also be linked in under August in our summer checklist. So keep that handy. Now, the other thing is, once we get our account all set up and ready to go, we also need the humans behind us to know how to support this. So as a reminder, we do offer customer service, professional development. If you have those PD hours you're looking to fill, this is a great course for you to take advantage of. Our summer dates are starting to fill fast. We have a small but mighty team who does this. If you're interested in learning more, getting something scheduled, we have that QR code up here. Rebecca will drop another link in the chat. I'm keeping her so busy today. And in there, you can reach out to just learn more. These are in-person workshops now. We used to offer a virtual option. We don't any longer, just because we know that in-person is so much more rich and valuable, and we have breakout groups and group discussions. We cover everything from customer service mindset, tapping into empathy, channeling the challenging customer, which I know we all have. We're all on the front line regularly. If you're on last month's office hours about the importance of customer service, this is a great course to sign up for. Okay, I told you we were hopping in between, because now I want to show you some key features that have recently been released. So these are kind of like hot off the press. We showed you that auto scan in the resource center. Take advantage of those. It's a great feature. Second, so Heidi, I can go, or there's the link that Rebecca dropped in the chat. Those trainings are different from the Let's Talk user trainings. Those can be found on the Learning Center if you're just wanting like the basic how to use Let's Talk. If you're wanting to do those PD specific, you get to customize and set the date with our team, which is great. Okay, where were we? Chatbot. Okay, we did the auto rescan. That's fantastic. Let's now go into actually under channels, you have your Let's Talk Assistant. There's a few of you that this might be of interest for. So first, you can now have your Let's Talk Assistant answer in multiple languages. It did answer in Spanish before. We've loaded in additional options under here. Now, something to note is you have to have your languages loaded in your Let's Talk account. So under your account setup, make sure you're checking your languages and you have your language and your translator added. And then we come back to our Let's Talk Assistant. And here's where I have my option to turn these on. Turn on Spanish and Vietnamese. Now, basic translation support means there might be some errors. It's still learning. It's going to offer just very basic. That can be able to answer super complex questions, but these are improving every single day, and we are adding more languages every day. So if you know that there is a language that you have turned on under your translations but are not on your chatbot, come in and activate those. Other piece is you do now have the option to ask users to provide their name and email before chatting. We had some districts that were like, that used to be how our chatbot was, went away when we moved to the generative AI, and we had some that said, gosh, we really would like to gather that information. So that option is now back. Something to note is this might deter some people from interacting with the chatbot. So kind of choose wisely if you're going to turn it on. But if you know it's going to be of value, absolutely go ahead and turn that on. If you're utilizing Live Agent, you now have the option too to just skip immediately to a live agent versus having to have a chat to get it to say, nope, we don't know the answer. Do you want to chat with someone? You can just skip directly to them, which is great. Other thing is, don't forget you do have your option for multiple profiles. I'm seeing now a lot of districts build this out for an internal chatbot specifically for HR. We know that it's a very nuanced department, so we can build these out. You can have them for schools, departments, really, and anything you want. We have the option to build multiple if you like them. Okay, and then I'm going to move to our dashboard because we had a big release come over the weekend that, remember those dialogue themes that popped up on your topics? That happened about a year ago. Those are now being put to use. So if you're in your dashboard and you scroll down, you're going to see the word cloud has now been moved over. It's not as big as it was. It's still there though. You now have two different options. You have your summaries and your trending themes. So these are pulled out to make it easier to understand what is really rising to the surface district-wide, and then how's it comparing at a state and national level. You can also download both of these as well, but I recommend coming in and just kind of clicking through with your summary. It's going to give you an overall look. And then as I go, it's going to look through those trending themes that we pulled out. So school calendar, we have a strong focus on this. Here's our positive sentiment. Here's our negative sentiment. And overall, how's that looking? And that's going to follow the same kind of template for each one. With these trending themes, you can also always click that little bar graph and it's going to pull it out. Mine have no themes because a lot of my dialogues in here just say testing. But here I can see compared to the nation, let's actually look at school calendar. And I can see that my district had a lot of questions about school calendar compared to nationwide. Then I can kind of just see what's going on. Definitely recommend come in here, click around. You can't break it. Fool around, change the dates, see what's going to work best for you. Okay, we've covered a lot in our almost 40 minutes together. I really appreciate everyone taking the time to show up. Next up, you have heard me yapping nonstop about the new IT features coming to Let's Talk. It's now time for us to see them in action in our office hours group. If you joined our March office hours with CEO Suhail Faruqi, you got a small glimpse, but for us, we're going to go a little bit deeper. So we're going to explore the brand new customer portal. You're going to see what it be able to look like for staff, for students, for family, ticket management. What does this look like for small things like a login problem to a bigger thing like a smart board? How do we asset track the tools? So how am I keeping track of everything from a projector to a battery? Our agent workflows, what do those look like on the back end? So invite your IT leaders. This is one that is really helpful and informative. Even if you're not in the market for a new IT system management or asset management right now, it's always just great to see what's out there. And because you're a current Let's Talk partner, you are eligible for a significant discount. So this is also a great way to be streamlining your products, saving money, etc. Doesn't hurt by just showing up. So if you can sign up, we'd love to have you there. We'd love to have your IT leaders come as well. So as always, thank you for joining us today. Please reach out if there's any questions. We will send this recording out tomorrow. But just know we're always here to help support as we wrap up the school year. So thank you everyone for coming. We look forward to seeing you next month.